And there we are. Welcome, guys. Last session, number 10. How did everything go in the last couple of days?
Marwan, do you want to start us off or should I go?
So yeah, the last couple of days we ran into a little bit of a difficulty just with the website and everything, but we were missing two unmoderated tests, so we just found people for that, and we did just a live unmoderated test. A moderated test instead of unmoderated. Fill in the gap. So we did end up with 5 testers, and yeah, we have a presentation for you today, and we did make final iterations and a bit of like recommendations for you moving forward as well.
All right.
Anything you'd like to add, Liz?
I think that's perfect. We could.
Can't hear you.
Oh, I said I think that's perfect. We can just go right in.
It's just me? I can't hear anything.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you, Liz.
Oh, I can't hear either of you. Wait, what?
Okay. You can hear me, Marwan?
That's so
doesn't
weird.
look like it. You hear me though, Mara?
I can't hear either of you anymore.
Neither of us.
Hold up, let me refresh my page.
Well, tricky today.
Why would it be anything else?
No, it worked so
More
far.
exciting, you know?
How about now?
Hello?
No, still nothing?
Hey, what about now?
What
Can you hear me now, Marwan?
Literally out of nowhere, the audio stopped coming in. Yeah, I can't hear you guys.
Let's see.
Hold up, let me try putting on headphones.
So Liz, the downside of, well, not the downside, but what makes contract work more interesting is that you constantly work with all kinds of different systems. So right now I have 3 laptops in front of me and a couple of shared keyboards. You're muted.
There we go, okay.
You're muted, Liz.
Mute gets me every time. Do you have 3 computers or just 3 monitors for 1 computer?
3 computers, so 2 Windows machines, a Linux machine, and then a big monitor in between.
Wow, that's a lot. Marwan, how's it going? Can you hear us?
Yeah, I just had to put on some AirPods. That was so weird.
It's nice you're giving us a show. It has a different background each time. Maybe you should take your shirt up a little.
You know, I should have done that.
To like come out.
Hey.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, so anything you wanted to add, Liz?
No, I'd say just let's start sharing the presentation, and I think we can just get into some flow.
Okay, awesome.
Doing that. Do you wanna do the first part of with the presentation, and then I can start over at the usability testing that we've done. the last round?
I can start as well.
Okay. Are you going to share your screen with the presentation?
Let me try to share. It doesn't usually work well for me.
No, today's the day.
So what you guys should suggest while you pull this up to a Springboard is to partner or get you credits or something for Try My UI, because that was a bit painful. I don't know if they have any like a perks program or something, but I think that would make sense to give you guys access, because it's probably in Try My UI's interest too, right? Like that's how Techstars, for example, or any of these accelerators, they have a ton of perks which you get, for free for the first couple of months. And then because you're now familiar with the tool, as you go into your professional work or life, you're more likely to keep using it and paying for it, right? So, because I think that's kind of, I don't know, it's not the best part on Springboard to make you guys jump through hoops like that.
Yeah, it's definitely tough. Like some sort of partnership would be wonderful. They do things with other like outside companies too, but it was frustrating because 2 weeks ago it was like they had just changed their platform, because I've used them twice before and they've just changed it. So that was, a bit of a roundabout situation.
Yeah. Did you guys?
We ended up doing 3.
Yeah.
And combined all the data, and then we both did 1 test on our own.
Okay.
But we did
you choose to use that
task.
tool, or was that is that kind of the standard in Springboard?
So they recommended that back like when we did unmoderated tests for one of our projects. But there's like 4 or 5 other sites that are popular, and I've gone on all of them, but none of them are free. They all cost money. And some of them cost a lot of money. You have to like talk with a consultant first. You can't even just go on and create a test. Yeah,
but especially if they recommend it, they should definitely make your life easier. I mean, if it was just chosen by you, then okay, that's different. But if whatever they recommend, they should have an easy option for you for the duration of your program.
Yeah.
Because it makes no sense for anyone to waste time like that, right?
They could even build their own. I mean, that's kind of long.
They could, probably not their business. It's not working, Maron?
Oh, you're not? Oh, I thought it was sharing this whole time.
No, not showing yet.
We're living in suspense.
Sure. Chrome has lost permission. Oh boy. Screen record.
Just to share time, save the time here. Liz, can you share it maybe? Is that going to work? You're muted again.
I can share. The thing is, I've never used Keynote, but I can figure it out as we go along. But I've never used Keynote before, so. But yeah, let's do this. Okay. Okay, you see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, let's go with that. And then Marwan, just let me know when I should go forward.
Yeah. So, I mean, just for the purpose, I mean, I think you would benefit most from our unmoderated test. So we're gonna try to go swiftly through the beginning part, because obviously it's everything we've accomplished and we've already shared with you. So there's no point to dwell on it. So we'll swiftly go through the beginning, and then when we get to the unmoderated tests and fidelities, then we'll slow down and really delve deep into them.
Okay.
So yeah, this is our final, presentation. We will be talking about the, analysis for the feedback, user interviews, personas, user journey map, some sketching that we did, high fidelity mockups, usability testing, iterations on mockups, and then we have future recommendations for you. Next. So for our feedback, when we started off, we kind of went through the feedback that you got. You shared with us a bunch of feedback from the website, and there was, people loved the idea of the program. There was value in it. Definitely targeting the right people. People that were interested in entrepreneurship and wanted to learn more and be part of a community. There was, a concise message that is to the point. It was pretty straightforward, and there was increasing ways for, natural interactions and engagement between all your meetups, and then the program itself emphasized community, which was huge, and that's what people are there for, and exploring what people want to engage. So what we found out was, we had to explore how people want to engage and the type of structure for the website that would be most valuable. Next. So we also interviewed a bunch of people, a couple of people that were using the website, and there was conversations can go deeper. I mean, these are some of the insights. Some people said conversations can get deeper with people that have aligned ideas and topics, or that were in similar stages. So yeah, some people wanted to be with people that were in the same stage, but then there are obviously others that wanted to be with people that were ahead of them so they can learn more. A lot of people loved the building in public because it increases accountability. Website does need to embody trust and credibility, which previously it did not. Requirement is through recruitment is through the word of mouth. So not a lot of people, when we interviewed people, they told us they pretty much got the word from you for the most part, and that's how they found out about, the program, and they barely had to go through the website as it is. Customers want to know customers want a specific method to guide them and to know clearly what the value is clearly. Establish reputable brand that customers want to associate with. So there was a couple people that actually didn't want to be associated with the website just because it just didn't look credible. And then BIP is still new and unknown, and a couple other processes. So it does come with difficulty, but it was extremely valuable to them at the end of the day, and they learned a lot from it. Community participation does fade after the cohort, so not a lot of people continued with the Twitter posts or like the weekly blogs. After the cohort ended, they kind of just all of that subsided. Peer group was beneficial because it still aligned them with the community, but they weren't as as active or as driven, I guess. when they were part of the cohort. So that was extremely. So the cohorts are definitely extremely helpful. And then customers have their own definition of success. So starting out with, we came up with a persona, just a culmination of all the people that we interviewed. There might be a potential new and or different persona that you could draw later, but for the most part, out of the people that we interviewed, this is what we gathered. So we made kind of a general persona. We named him Andrew. He's roughly around 34 years old. He lives in Dallas. He's a full-time employee as a computer engineer. He's married with 2 kids. And although he works full-time, he does have ideas for side projects that he wants to launch, but he lacks the motivation and needs a community of like-minded individuals to hold him accountable so that he can achieve those dreams and those goals of his for the project. So his frustrations are he does not want to go through the process alone, which is pretty valid. Nobody wants to do that. A community goes a long way, and he has ideas for the project but doesn't know where to start. As a lot of people, they didn't know what a BIP was until they joined. Some people did know, but for the most part, they didn't know. They didn't really know the full scope of it and how it can be beneficial, and as well as other projects. Next page. So yeah, we started out with next we gave you a user map, and the scenario was that a friend sent out the website for co-starting to a friend of theirs that was interested, that had a project and wanted to get involved. And so we talked about this journey map already, and go to the next page, Liz. And the main highlights, the things that we wanted the columns that we wanted to focus on were explore and consider, exploring so basically when the person gets to the website and explores it, we wanted to make sure that their exploration was was full of knowledge and full of, basically got their attention to get their attention to kind of follow through with the website and actually apply at the end. Define what co-starting is, so we'll give it a mission, about page and all that, and then easy and simple like sign up, like calls to action, throughout the page, and then just having engaging overall. Next. Thank you. So yeah, we started out with sketches for all of the pages. We did a bit of Crazy 8 with you as well, and we kind of came up with different hero concepts, like full bleed video or full background video, or like just a video on the side, and then a header and everything. We ended up kind of using all 3 ideas. So we did have a background for the landing page, and then we ended up having just a side video and the and a header right next to it. And then we kind of played around with the infographic, ways to scroll, and how to present all 4 components of co-starting, which is cohort, Slack, community, peer group, and the virtual coffee meetings. Next, please. So yeah, so we did draw up some sketches for the landing page, cohort page, and about page, and then we drew a couple of and we drew from inspos, like fantasy.co to get like to get the idea for a back and forth kind of side to side view of image and minimal writing. So we like the idea of just minimal website. It went a long way. Next, please. So yeah, from the sketches we rounded up. We started off with high fidelity mockups, and as I said, we went with for the landing page. We went for a background video with you, Sven, talking and kind of, and actually one of the unmoderated testers said that if that video could talk about, actually I think maybe multiple testers talked about how that if that video was to inform people of what the website is going to be and what it's about and what close sorting is in general, it would be huge because not a lot of people nowadays would scroll through everything and go to every page that you have on the navigation part. So that summarizing everything would be perfect. And then for the cohort page, we went with a side to side video on the right and a little description on the left, as well as the about page. And the about page would be you kind of talking about your mission statement and what it's about, where the idea came from, and just like a passionate video. And yeah, we went with the kind of pattern, yellow, white, and then switched over to pinkish peach and then a drawing. So we just kind of played around with that, and we also had a full we also used full viewports for most of these, and then things that had the same information, like the one right under the landing page. If it was, we try to keep information together that was similar. And yeah, next page, please. You want to go through this, Liz?
Okay, well done, Marwan. I'll baton pass.
Take it away.
So we already just talked briefly about the moderated tests, but as you know, we ran into a little bit of a snag getting all 5 testers on Try My UI. So I ended up doing 3 on Try My UI. So thank you for sending us those emails, Sven. That was super helpful. We used the same format as the first test. We talked about that all last meeting. So we used the same 3 tasks. And then we added 2 post-task questions. And for those 2 post-task questions, that data is in the transcripts of Try My UI. It's also in the videos. We have the videos and we have the Excel data again. And so we're going to share that with you as well. Not during this presentation, but we'll share it through the Google folder. We also made a small report as well for the findings. But for those 2 questions that you wanted to spend, I wanted to let you know that that's not in the data, the Excel data, or in the report. So you want to take a look at Try My UI for that. We did 2 hybrid testing, basically just meaning we used the same format as the unmoderated test. We had the same 5 tasks, the same psychometrics, and the same post-survey questions, but we were moderating them, but in the same way that they were doing it on Try My UI, as in just giving them the task and letting them find on their own without helping them through. And so yeah, let's keep going here. So another thing with the data and the Excel sheets, Sven, it's the same format as the way we went through the first round of unmoderated testing on Tuesday. So just let us know if you have any questions about any of that data afterwards too. You can definitely still ask about that. So I'm going to talk about some of the results. So it was really good, really positive feedback about the prototype. So we were really happy with that. I'm going to share some just quantitative improvements that we had from the first round of moderated or unmoderated testing to this next round of testing. So first, this first slide here is talking about the difficulty of the tasks. So after they would complete each task on Try My UI, they would rate it on a scale of 1 to 7, with 1 being very difficult and 7 being very easy. So the area we were really trying to improve was task number 2. And just to remind you what question that was, I'm going to actually just go into this. Can you see this screen too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, wait, no, just the keynote.
Oh, okay. Well, let me just read this to you then. So task number 2 is you would like to know what is involved in joining a cohort, find out what a cohort would include. So that goes back to that original goal we were talking about with having really clear messaging about what's included for a program. This is different than the value question. The value was task 1. So actually, let me read that to you as well. That was what do you understand is the value of co-starting and joining a cohort. But there was a huge increase in how people rated the level of difficulty for task 2. So we were pretty happy about that.
Awesome.
And so the next scale we're going to look at is the SUS. So we talked about this on Tuesday, but this is the system usability scale. And this one also had a really great increase. So this is that 10-point scale. And this is a really common psychometric too. If you want to keep testing with this too, Sven, it's super easy to test with yourself as well. But yeah, so we had an increase there as well.
Good.
And on the Excel sheet, you can see what those questions are as well for this if you ever want to refer back to that, those 10 questions. And then the last measure here is the NPS. So this is going to be really important for you, Sven, because this is what you're really working towards, is getting a lot of word of mouth marketing. And so the NPS is the net promoter score, quite sure. And it's basically how many people are going to recommend co-starting to a friend. So they're literally just asked that question. How likely are you to recommend the website to a friend or colleague? This little chart here, I don't know if it's kind of small, but from 1 to 6, if someone rates it from 1 to 6, they're known as a detractor. And then the 7 and 8, they're known as basically passive or neutral. And then 9 or 10, those are your promoters. So you're really shooting for like people that do 9 or 10. When we first tested co-starting site, we had 2 detractors and 3 passives people here, and no promoters. But when we tested the last site, or prototype, we had 1 passive and 4 promoters. So we were really happy about that. This scoring, I maybe wouldn't pay attention to 140%, kind of just making the difference between these two. But the way the score is calculated is the promoters subtracted by the detractors, basically.
Okay.
So this one, because there's 2, each one is 20% because there's 5 of them, so it's -40. And then this one has all promoters and no detractors, so that's why that one is 100%.
Gotcha.
And this is another really great test to keep going too. We're going to talk about that a little bit with the recommendations too when we get there. Oh, this is not supposed to be in there. That's my bad. That's not the link. But let me just see here. Hold on just a second. I'm just going to delete this. Okay. So it wasn't all positive feedback, of course, for the prototype. So some things that we got, some feedback we got, that we made changes on specifically, and then I can go into some other feedback as well. But the tab bar, we had the tab bar in the prototype, there was just a transparent background. So it was just the text going through as you go down the page. And so that was a bit distracting for some people because the words were going over
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
headers.
I saw that in the video like that, of course. And as that would have been an actual website, you could make that with shades and changing, animated, whatever, right? Just like on, remember we talked about this on the other website we used as an example, right? You need to make sure it can actually flow through. They might have even made sure that the menu never flows through any other text or something. All of these things are important, but sure, good enough for the test as long as we understand why.
Did you watch any of the tests?
Yeah, I watched one.
Nice, cool. Just so you know, the password is the same for all three.
Okay, but you already downloaded all the content, right? It will be in Google.
I downloaded the data from the Excel sheet, just like the same one as last time. Then we added stuff and added, things that aren't in there when you export the data. And we downloaded the 3 videos. Then we'll send those over to you.
Yeah.
So we did some of the iterations we did after. We did change those nav bars, the top nav bars, so they have a background. But again, that's going to be something that you're going to worry about more when you're coding. And then we added, so one of the feedback was just more information really about cohorts. There's always people always want more information. So they want to know more about the application process. There's a whole list actually that, let's see here. I'm gonna actually just share the report really quickly, just to kind of get some points to talk about. So you can see that. And then we'll share this document with you as well, Sven. Okay. So a big section here, as you can see, people still have a lot more questions about cohorts. Now, keep in mind that our test was heavily focused on cohort questions. First question was, what's the value of cohorts? And then what's included in cohorts was the second question. And the third question was how to apply for cohorts. So it's very cohort focused, but we got a lot of feedback on more information that people are wanting that wasn't on the prototype. So exactly how they're formed, showing the outcomes of other cohort members, like showing like a case study or showing how they benefited. The testimonies are like that a bit already, but that was mentioned. People definitely wanted to know what kind of background the other people had because they wanted to know who they're going to be going through these cohorts with. So knowing a bit about the other people was some suggestions that came up too. But that's also tough because you're accepting people maybe at the same time.
I mean, it's impossible, right? Like we can give a general overview of what kind of cohorts we put together, but of course these come in dynamically. So it's not just going to be all 4 are always going to be there for the 5th one to apply, right? It doesn't work like that. But of course, we can give them a general insight on who their peers would be.
Yes, and I think looking at past cohorts would be an opportunity for that.
Right.
So if you had, I know that you have the site already that is showing people's their business and their startup and then their social media, but maybe some bios about past people would be helpful too to kind of gauge what some of the backgrounds are of people.
Sure.
And also what languages are spoken, what kind of software is used for the cohorts. Are there specialists that give advice? What will be discussed during each session? Age. Oh, this is repetitive here. I'm just going to get rid of that. So that's all cohort related. And these are some other suggestions as well. I do want to say again, what really shone through was people did love the idea of co-starting. Everybody that was tested loved the idea. Everybody thought that it was a great way to learn by going through a cohort, especially getting with a group of people that's consistent, and then trusting those people and getting feedback from them. So that's shown through on the first round of testing, and that definitely shown through on this round of testing as well, that people love the idea of co-starting. It's unique for some people. So that was great to hear again too. But I won't go through this whole list, but you have this here, Sven, as well.
Awesome.
Just some likes here, and then some of the action items we did for iterations.
All right.
Cool. And let me share the presentation again, get back to that.
Just a quick time check. I can't run over too long today. I have another meeting.
Got it. We can. Okay. We're nearly done, but I'll go a bit quicker.
Want to make sure we also have like 2 minutes in the end to just kind of wrap up and,
Okay.
So we don't have to kind of look at the last thing and then, all right, bye.
Speaking of look, let's take a look. And then we just have recommendations.
Oh, actually, I do have a question on the Figma part. Like, how do we share that? Can we export that or transfer ownership, or how does that work?
Yeah,
or is it?
Good question. I mean, you still have edit rights. You're going to need to get into that Figma document. So.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that, it's like the ownership of that document should probably reside with me going forward. So it doesn't accidentally, for whatever reason, you delete your account or something, right?
Well, what I think should happen is that Marwan and I will also need access to it for making our case studies. So I think I'll make a copy of it and then send you your own version of it.
Yeah. Like, however, again, if you can export it and I can import it in my account, like whatever that looks like, but I need access to one which I have control over ultimately.
Definitely. I'll send you one after this. That's just your version. Cool. All right, so let's go through it a little. I'm going to share the prototype here. Okay, there you are, Sven.
There I am.
So yeah, this is our final version. We're pretty happy with it. I'm pretty happy with it. I want to speak for Marwan. Marwan is also happy for it, but I don't like speaking for people. But
you're absolutely right. You would be correct.
But yeah, we also, just so you know, Sven, we did end up changing a lot of the copy. I should say editing a lot of the copy. So you'll see that kind of throughout. Yeah, we also added some more logos throughout too to kind of make it more fun and engaging. And you remember this section. This was learn when we first showed you the iteration. We changed it to discover here. What we do. And this could be a running video back here as well. We needed to make it pretty dark because of the contrast. This is still, could even be darker there, but we did change these to one full viewport, looking at all these four here. We changed the testimonies a bit since you last saw it, took up the directional CTAs here. Oh, and this is a real Emmy quote. We ended up changing this map a bit as well to be just more of an inclusive feel, and yeah, change the copy on that a little bit too. Now, this was something that we added after iterations. We didn't have this before, but people wanted to know more of what was going on with the other cohort. So, I mean, you have something like this on your co-starting site right now too. So we added that here, and then that would theoretically take you to those pages or those sections of maybe the community page. So that's something to think about, because it's not totally clear, obviously, where those would go. If they each have their separate page or go to one just past cohort page. But people definitely wanted to see that. That was a big thing during testing. And then, this we did join our mailing list, ready to join. We changed the frequently asked questions a little bit. We do have questions related to each page here. And then our footer. So we can go right into the cohort page here. Again, you see we incorporated your logo a bit here too. So yeah, this was also 4 viewports, or excuse me, 4-in-1 viewport that we put in there. People did like this banner. There was good feedback on that. And then, of course, in future iterations, you're going to want to think of spelling out these other weeks as well in here.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, and then we just added this application process as well after the iterations. And then this is the same that was on the landing page, the same block here. All right, and then just the about page here. Also, from the testing, it was definitely feedback that people do really want those videos to run. They would love to watch those explanation videos. People were saying that. And some more photos as well with some feedback. So yeah, this is pretty much the same as it was. We just, made everything more consistent, tightened everything up, just since the last time you saw it. So there's that. So in the sake of time, I won't say anything else about this prototype, but we will share your own copy with you. And then we just want to finish off with some recommendations here. Oops. Let's see. Okay. So I'll just start talking here. So some of the recommendations that we do have are, and this was a recommendation from Rafael, actually, is to really, and we talked about this in the beginning too, with KPI measures and really establishing your KPI measures. So Rafael recommended Medallia. I have used Medallia in the past, actually, at a place I've worked at. They're just like a general feedback software, but he specifically was saying to use it, you can put it onto your site, and then it'll measure just so many different metrics that you can use to iterate on your designs. So that brings me to the next point, is that these designs that we've just made for you and are handing off, they're not final. So it's a constant, it's a constant iteration process.
Sure.
So you're definitely going to want to make those iterations based on the feedback that you're getting from your customers on your site. Another future people of co-starting. So yeah, just keep that in mind. And then we went over them briefly, but there's some recommendations on the usability report. Mm-hmm. They're all in that bullet pointed list. It's not too pretty of a presentation, but there's some really good things in there to think about for some future testings and future iterations. So I feel like we are leaving you with some good food for thought. And then, like we talked about, just like a graphic designer for more personal illustrations. And then I, definitely need to get someone to code the Figma prototype too. Maybe Springboard has interns for that. So
yeah. Awesome. Cool.
So that's it.
Makes sense. Awesome. Well, thanks, guys. I'm pretty happy. Still a lot of work to do, right? This is kind of the kickoff for the work now for me. So I would love to get it just code it quick and then test on the actual working site, right? But of course, that's probably not going to happen because it is, it's a substantial amount of pages and elements already now, and it's not even all of them which we would need for the live site either, right? So I'm wondering, actually, I owe your program manager or whatever the title is an email. They actually already proposed or suggested having phase 2, I guess they call it, I guess another set of interns from Springboard, which would be kind of cool. So I might do that and iterate on these missing pages with them, because they would now be super quick, right? Just kind of picking up with all of your work. But I'm not sure yet. And then, of course, I have to produce those videos, which I agree they would need to be there for any future testing. They would make a big difference. But they need to be designed as well first. I need to think about what content that has. But I think it's never been more aligned with what it should be than it is right now, right? So thanks a lot. This is really cool. And I hope it was fun. And I hope it kind of, gives you guys something to brag about in your portfolios, which that's part of the deal, right? So you can kind of show what you have worked on over this program. So I like to believe that, the way we did this with the live streams and all of that, hopefully will help, any future employer or contractor you might be working for. Just point them towards this, right? And they'll see you in action, literally just out there. Cool.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you, Sven. It's definitely been good learning in a lot of different realms. And time management and creating a project from kind of just from the beginning with not really even knowing where to start, but just kind of getting into it and seeing what's working and experimenting a bit. So thank you for letting us
absolutely
make some imprint too on it.
So that's it, right? There's officially, at least that's the end of our engagement. So I would love to, you guys are in the community of course already in the Slack. So if you guys want to stick around there, feel free, hop into any of these future virtual coffee meetings if you want to. Feel free to just feel like you have come to co-starting without Springboard, and take advantage of it if you want, and share your future endeavors. Maybe you're getting into something yourself where a cohort or a peer group or any of the engagement with the community can help you. I would love to see that. That'd be great. But of course, you're also embarking on your new careers now, right? So I guess lots of fun stuff to come. Do you guys have any plans yet? Do you have, when does the program officially end for you?
Well, for me, I'll go basically next. Well, we both have to make a case study for this, and then we both need to make our portfolios. So for me, I'm taking a little bit of a break after this just to work on my portfolio, give myself some time for that. So for me, I'll be done in about 5 weeks.
All right.
Yeah, and then I'll be looking for work.
Awesome.
There's a place I'd want to volunteer with first called Code for America, and they have different regions around, so I'm planning to volunteer with them first and then look for a job after that.
That's awesome. We actually had a Code for America chapter here before.
Yeah, they're all over the U.S.
Yeah. Awesome. How about you, Maron?
Yeah, I would. I have a goal, but it's very unlikely just because I'm looking to travel this summer. But I definitely, same as her, we're in the same boat. We need to work on our portfolio, and we have portfolio and then case study for this. And then after that, there's like a couple of things that we need to do with our mentors and advisors and stuff like mock interviews and building resume and cover letters. So there's still a bit left, but everything is just wrapping kind of what we learned and putting it all together and basically getting ready to join the market and just get the career started.
Cool. Awesome.
Yeah.
So I also recommend start with the co-starting community, of course, or any other communities you might be joining, to look around, ask around for opportunities, right? Like in my opinion, so fun fact, when I left corporate America, however many years ago it's been, 6, 7 or so, I vowed to myself that I will never, ever apply for a job again in my life. Mm-hmm. And I know that's a silly thing to say, but what I meant by that is just that traditional kind of, you send out 20 applications, you have these interviews with these headhunters. It's just a whole bunch of BS, right? Now, I'm not saying you should be doing this, because at the beginning of the career, that is helpful, actually, right? To kind of learn the ropes. But then as you get into this, you will see these opportunities pop up left and right. If you want to, and if you're good at networking, right? Like, just by being in these communities and having people know you, like you literally sometimes just get job offers out of the blue, or just by talking to people. I love this kind of stuff. That's my business. But I give you an example. I reached out to a new area in the States recently because I was working with their startup ecosystem, and just kind of blind, LinkedIn outreach to people who I thought were entrepreneurs, who I thought I would like to connect with to get a feeling of the area. And two of them, this was like I want to say 2-month process or so, just off and on here and there meetings, right? And two of them, after our first meeting, asked me if I wanted to be their CTO. Now, I don't know if that would have actually happened, right? Of course, totally different question. There would have still been a long process. But just by getting to know people more informally, as with what you guys have to offer, give first, right? Like helping them understand their problems or whatever it may be, goes a long, long way. And I found it to be much more rewarding to get into opportunities like that than these, cookie cutter, okay, there was a job posting in the New York Post. I don't know. No one reads papers anymore, I guess. But anyway, just kind of a recommendation. You'll get into it. This is the exciting part now, right? Like the very beginning of careers are super, super exciting because everything is new. Nothing is stale yet, so enjoy it, guys. Very cool. Yeah. I'm glad I could be a part of that transition.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity. It was great working on this site. Absolutely. And with Liz, you were great.
You're great, Marwan.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is cool. So last question from my side. The use case you were talking about, what does that look like? Can I get a copy of that, or is that like going to be on your portfolios, or what does that look like?
Our case study, yeah. This is a case study, yeah. You asked us a bit about this earlier too. It'll be on our portfolio, so yeah, I can definitely send mine over when I'm done with it.
That'd be great. Yeah, I'd love to link to that somehow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Or maybe I might, even if I feel inspired, might just write a blog post about this entire process. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, and that would be a good thing to add to co-starting too.
Yeah.
And other resources. If you ever have any feedback for us too, feel free to share that. And I will be sharing the last recap with you, with some of the things we talked about too. So, and then feel free, if there's like anything you need to, just feel free to reach out.
Yeah, same here. If you have any questions, or if you want a recommendation for anything, or again, if you see someone, like, this is how networking works, right? You just ask. You really just have to ask. Most people don't say no. So if you see I'm connected with someone on LinkedIn and you would like to get an introduction, whatever it may be, just feel free to ask. Worst case is that I don't really know them, but an introduction always helps.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Yeah, appreciate it.
Awesome. Well, fantastic. Thank you so much, guys. Again, we'll stay in touch. We're all still on Slack, and let me know what's next for you guys. I'm curious to follow along.
Cool.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Thanks a lot.
Bye.
Enjoy your weekends.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
You too.